Well, here I am in Fremont at Carol and Andy's house, and I saw this strawberry assembly they have over here, and I was mightily impressed with it. What we've got over here is a homemade appliance for growing strawberries out of the soil. So we have towers made out of PVC pipe. So we got 2-inch holes bored in 4-inch PVC pipes. Then we have a frame here, it's 1.25 inch PVC, that is triangulated through this thing and screwed in place at the joints. And so you got one screw here in the pipe, one screw here in the pipe, pipe runs back and so on. So the whole thing supports itself. Then the pipes have been filled with organic fertilizer, potting soil, and 1/4-inch soaker lines. And so there's an irrigation tube that runs down the length of all of these pipes in between the strawberries. Strawberries are mostly ever-bearing varieties. We have a few here I'm not even familiar with, like Seascape and Eclair. Eclairs I know all about, but I'm on a diet. Chandler back here is a June bearer. The irrigation is running between all the pipes here and then is tied on with zip ties. Comes up from the back over here, fed out of the main pipe. It's zip tied up the back over here and hooks into the irrigation lines. Very clever. Down here on the soil underneath, we have gopher guards. Because Carol tells me the last thing she wanted in this world was gophers living in a condominium apartment with their heads sticking out of the holes. And so we have wire underneath the towers that will keep anything in the soil from going up the towers. These were bundles of bare root strawberries purchased, 25 each, that were installed in here. You built and planted this when?
About 6 weeks ago.
6 weeks. Okay, not bad. So in 6 weeks' time, we already have, we already have green strawberries happening. This is pretty cool. I assume we'll end up with the runners dangling off the sides too, and so you'll get like a spider plant hanging basket effect going on here later in the season. The only issue we have with this that'll be a little bit different is that since we cannot set the runners when they come, then these plants are going to be good for the season, and they will end up producing runners that'll dangle off this like spider plants in a hanging basket sort of. So you're going to have runners coming off the towers. I'm going to suggest that maybe we use tubs like these below the towers, so we could put these down on the ground underneath, fill them with some potting soil, and then as the runners start to grow out, we could take the runners that come off these plants and allow them to set in here while they're still hooked to the mothers. That way, when we get to the end of the season and harvest is finished, we're going to have tubs filled with brand new fresh strawberry plants, and we'll be able to go through here and pull out all the old mothers. Because for those of you who may be new at raising strawberries, you probably don't realize that this plant here does not remain fruitful indefinitely. You can usually manage to pull 2 crops off of a mother plant before the crowns divide to such an extent that all they do is produce runners. They pretty much stop producing fruit. And so it's those new plants that come every year which are the ones that really produce the heavy crops of fruit. So when we take it and we put strawberries up and out of the ground like this in apartment buildings, as the runners come off and we set them, we'll replace these plants with the runner plants this next winter. And then so if we were in the open garden, what we'd be doing is taking the mother plant and setting the runners perhaps in an X pattern around the mother plant, and then destroying the mothers the next year, raising the runners for crops, and then we can usually manage to get the runners to run back one more time. But 3 years on a strawberry patch is just about the end of things before you're going to have to trash it and move it over. So this is going to require a certain amount of special procedure, and I do believe that we're going to be able to peg the runners so we can get our own plants to continue the process. So here at the corner joints, you see, Andy has sawn the pipes at an angle so that they don't jut out, and we have a screw fastening right here.
Makes it easier to put the screw in.
Yeah. Oh, that's a point, huh? Otherwise you couldn't get through there without drilling a hole or something. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you see the soil in the top here and the irrigation line that's running in. Here we have all these holes drilled. Same situation down here at the bottom. We have pipes crossed with screws installed right there, like that. And then there is the wire underneath. Here you can see a detail of the irrigation line coming up. Looks like we have a quadruplex bubbler at the top over here,
Yeah.
splitting the 1/4-inch lines. Line zip tie around, come down the tubes. For feeding after the fact, Carol has installed organic fertilizer in with the potting soil, but here we have a Venturi siphon mixer that will go ahead and hook into the irrigation system so that they can take a line, which is shown right there, and drop it into some sort of bucket of fertilizer, so they'll be able to feed with the irrigation water later in the summer to keep the strawberries abundant, lush, and happy. Pretty cool, Carol. Yep. That was Carol. Happy gardening. Enjoy.